the media industry is collapsing. It's called the Trump slump. So I saw these stories, and in line with me just like not really caring, I just tweeted the lines to that song, I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire. I think it's called that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want to set the
From
world
Fallout.
on the fire.
Beautiful
I just
song.
want to start a flame in your heart. And it's an image of Huffington Post laying people off, followed by The Intercept saying, since Trump left office, our memberships and revenue has dropped precipitously. CNN primetime ratings collapsing.
Oh, no.
More than 100 workers laid off from NBC. Bloomberg laying people off. Pandemic slams Sinclair broadcast layoffs. Then we have Hallmark Channel, which is not super news. And then news sites show early sign of post-Trump
Yep.
slump. This is it. Without Donald Trump, they will not exist. I love how people are like, good song, that's great. And then people are commenting, Fallout, whatever, because the song's from
Great
Fallout.
game.
But these are just a small sampling of the Trump slump.
Yeah.
Without Donald Trump to attack and degrade, they have nothing. The best. I got to read this for you guys. From The Intercept. Since Donald Trump left office on January 20th, donations to The Intercept have gone down sharply. After years of steady growth, last month brought fewer newer members than we've seen in more than 2 years. Similar trends are being reported across media and progressive politics. While Trump railed against journalists as the enemy of the people, grassroots outrage over Trump's corruption, racism, and incompetence fueled a spike in ratings, subscriptions, and fundraising that became known in the industry as the Trump bump. Well, I can say this. My respect to The Intercept for admitting they were just monetizing people's anger at Donald Trump, and that now that he is gone, they're desperate and aren't making any money. They drove out Glenn Greenwald because Glenn Greenwald was critical of the Democrats and Joe Biden. So he ended up having to resign from his own outlet. Now, who wants to give any money? But I'll tell you what the crazy thing is. You got Matt Taibbi, Glenn Greenwald. Matt Taibbi, formerly of Rolling Stone. Glenn Greenwald, founder, formerly of The Intercept. They started something called a Substack, where they write now on their own with no, boss telling what they can or can't say, and people pay directly. I am a proud paying subscriber to both Glenn and Matt because I think they do amazing jobs. I've been critical of Glenn Greenwald in the past. I do not think he's perfect, but I respect him for being consistent, for talking about what he believes, for writing these stories. And it was a tremendous sign of integrity when he walked from The Intercept, his own company, because they were trying to suppress negative information on the Bidens. Well, the Trump slump is here. Any of you surprised?
Not at all.
I think this is the Democrat Party on full display, right? You want to keep a problem around without actually solving it so you can point at the problem and say, hey, we need more money or more of this in order to solve this, but they never do. And now that President Trump is gone, well, the Trump slump is here.
Oh, man, it's hilarious. I said, like a month before the election, the best thing for Democrats would be if Trump wins. Because the establishment right now has tacit support from the progressives because they all hate Trump. That's the only thing unifying them. And the media will cease to exist without Donald Trump. I mean that figuratively. The ratings will collapse and there will be a bloodbath. There will be layoffs. There will be business, newsrooms will close down. And it's happening.
It was like a lot of people probably wanted Trump out of office so they could go back to sleep consciously.
Regular people.
Yeah.
I think with the media, it's the goose that laid the golden egg. Donald Trump was laying golden eggs on Twitter every day.
Daily. Hourly.
Yes.
Sometimes too much. But the media was able to use all of it. The obsession with Trump. It's an amazing thing. I'd love to get an objective, academic review from a legitimate academic on the Trump psychological effects on people. Why everyone was so obsessed with knowing what he was doing or thinking. Even look, he's a celebrity, right? The Apprentice. People just love the idea of Donald Trump. What did Barack Obama say? The American dream is to beat Trump. He said that in the 90s or whatever. Donald Trump was the guy, the symbol of American success, the golden toilet he has in his condo up in Trump Tower. There was an obsession with him. And when he ran for office, and even before he won, the people who hate him they loved to hate him.
Yeah, he was like a hard worker, very fiscally successful, came from a hard family. His dad was also a very hard worker since he was 14. But he was a jerk and a mean, not, I don't know him personally. No, his dad was apparently. Yeah. And so was Donald. He had a lot of those dislikable, angry. He'd get angry.
Trump?
Whatever. Yeah.
I've not heard that.
I haven't heard a lot. I don't know him. So it's hard to say, but he would say stuff that was very crass and rude. And so it was the dichotomy of a very successful businessman that really like the American dream, but also like a crude dude.
In his campaigns, right? And in his private conversations that get released, you hear Trump as a rude and crude dude. And a rude, crude, lewd dude. But I went to Trump Tower, during the campaign, and I went to his ice cream shop there in New York, and they have the steakhouse. And I just asked people, I was like, hey, have you ever seen Trump down here? The employees say, yeah, of course. And I was like, what do you think? And like, he's awesome. Yeah. And they would tell me stories about how he would come down with a stack of $100 bills and just hand them out to everybody. Just here's a personal gift for me to you. Don't worry about it. It's a tax-free gift. It's $100. Do whatever you want. There's even a video after he left office recently in the past couple of weeks where he like walks up to some lady and he hands her a $50 bill and he like smiles and she's like, oh my, thank you. Wow. The stories I've heard about Donald Trump in private are always that he's a really calm and nice guy. That's about it. The people who worked there seemed to enjoy working for him. They said he was great. They loved it when he was around because it meant he was going to come and hook them up and take care of them. But then when it came to the presidency, Trump did say a lot of things that really aggravated a lot of people. He said a lot of things that I wasn't a big fan of. Maybe Trump was always like that. He tweeted a lot about Obama and birtherism and stuff like that. Not a fan of any of that. So I definitely think he's a rude, crude, and lewd dude. But when people saw him in person, he seemed to have been genuinely nice to them.
Super charismatic. Yeah, easy to like. Also easy to hate. It was kind of depending on what he felt like doing for the day, Yeah.
I think it's more so if you're mean to him, he gets really angry and then he's
vengeful,
back.
Probably very vengeful, vindictive.
I don't know about vengeful.
So I heard that he actually paid somebody's medical bills. Do you guys know if that's true?
I mean, probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wasn't there was like a big story
Super
about
generous guy.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's easy to be generous when you're rich.
Of
I don't
course,
care if it's Trump or Oprah.
But
yeah.
It's true. He was born into it too. Born into just a multi-million dollar industry.
Yep.
So, but he did work to continue it, I think. I don't know. Do you know much about his fiscal life? Did he just kind of maintain the business, or did he grow? He grew to new heights.
He started his own business. He got a loan from his dad. He started his own real estate company, and it was bigger and more successful than his dad's company.
Nice.
And the haters, it's just.
I don't think it's easy to be generous when you're rich. I think you're generous, but it's not. Being generous is not everyone is. It's
like Oprah gives away cars and stuff, and everyone's like, "Wow,
Yeah,
it's so nice
generous.
of her." No. It's the companies pay for it. The companies are like, "Oprah, will you give away our cars so that we can get more people to drive these cars?"
Ad, yeah.
It's an ad campaign.
There's lots of rich people that don't do that, though.
Sure. The thing about Trump that I don't like is, dude, don't make me say something that's not true. I can't stand that. So when they were like, Trump's a failed businessman, he bankrupted a casino, and I'm like, all of these casinos went bankrupt. It wasn't just Trump casino. And he had 500 businesses and 5 bankruptcies or something like that. I don't know. Listen, bankruptcy isn't failure.
No.
Bankruptcy means that you don't got to pay back your debtors and you get to keep your business. It's a protection.
Lots of people are encouraged to do it if they have too much credit card debt.
Right.
You're better off declaring bankruptcy and then waiting out the 7 years, getting it off your credit record.
But it's not even that. It's the idea if you have a business and you have more liabilities than revenue, and your business will fail if you lose access to certain things, you declare bankruptcy, you get protected, and your business operates to try and recover. So it's like, dude, to claim that Donald Trump was stupid or a bad businessman, I'm like, just stop lying. Mm-hmm. Does it make you feel better to say he's worse? He is a billionaire president who married this model. Like, come on, man.
Many models. And he had a huge hit TV show. Dude, literally, the American dream. He became president.
There's a lot of things to insult the man for. There's a lot of things to criticize him for, but I just can't stand the lies. That's what I hate about the whole thing. And the lies were so intense, it was just an endless spree of let me defend Trump again, I guess. Because they just want you to live in this fake reality where the orange man is the villain. Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with Trump, but they just really, really loved to hate the man.
I wonder if they're going to villainize Biden with this Me Too stuff. If they're using this on Cuomo, they're going to wait a little while, see if Biden screws it up, and then hit him and put Kamala into office.
You think so, Scott?
They'll only do it to throw him under the bus when they no longer need him. And yes, look at what they're doing to Cuomo.
Yeah.
But everybody loves a good villain. Look, at the end of the day, good, heartwarming, wonderful stories don't sell.
True.
Look at the way the Republican Party, treats AOC. She's the pariah. And now look at the way the left is responding to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, to Madison Cawthorn, to Lauren Boebert, I believe is how you pronounce her name, out of Colorado. Those are the new AOCs of the right that they are demonizing and that they are villainizing. And that's because it sells. It's a click. It's a media hit. And it's unfortunate that those are the people that they target and set their sights on.
Who's Cawthorn?
He's the young gentleman out of North Carolina who just became a congressman. I think he's the youngest congressman in history, 25 years old.
That's like the minimum age, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was actually 24 when he was running, and he turned 25 subsequently after being elected.
Wow.
And yes, is the youngest congressperson.
Good for him. Yeah. He did tweet when he won "Cry More Libs," and I was like, nah, dude, no. We don't need none of that. We don't need none of that. You know, but he's a young guy, so you know, whatever, man. We'll see what he ends up doing, and if he acts a fool, and you know, then I'll criticize him the same as I would for anybody else. But I really do try to find stories where I can be like, I like Rashida Tlaib and AOC for these things, because I don't like that. Like, I only ever see the worst in them. You know what I mean? That's why it's like, I try to say, can you name a good Democrat? Can we find these people and give them credit where credit is due? It's difficult.
I'll give credit what AOC did in Texas. I mean, look, anybody can say, oh, she should be focusing on her district. She should be focusing on New York. Look, it's an objectively good thing that she raised and helped raise millions of dollars for the people of Texas. That is objectively good, and nobody can say otherwise. And quite frankly, where were Republicans on the right doing the same thing? Now, I did see some people who were out organizing food and delivering food and doing things like that, but where were people on the right getting millions of dollars like the left did?
Yeah. Well, it was an opportunity for AOC, and I'll say this. There's a lot of people who are like, she's just trying to exploit the situation for political gain, and my response is like, oh no, like AOC is helping people in Texas. It's like you cleaning up.
How dare her?
Yeah, right. Oh, geez. You know what? If she earns political points because she helped people in a crisis, she deserves them. Same for you, Scott. If you earn points because you got a bunch of people to clean up trash, you deserve them. So it's like, by all means,
from your perspective,
and it just makes us look petty,
right?
If we attack someone for doing something good.
Real quick, let's make the political battle about who can do the most good. Yes. Let's be like, oh, AOC, how she's winning the fight and helping people who are in poverty. Ted, you got to go in there and raise more money and help more people.
Sure. Just for the record, did you clean up the trash to get political clout?
No.
Or to help the people? What was your goal?
I did it because nobody else was doing it, and I thought, wow, I have a responsibility with this platform. See, people don't understand. I actually feel a heavy weight on my shoulders. And because I've been gifted with this large social media platform, that's the reason why I work nonstop and why I actually feel guilty taking days off, because I feel like, number one, who else is going to do it? And I challenge you at home, please do it. I want you to do what I do. I don't want all of this on my shoulders. And that's why I consistently work, and I'm going towards 2022 because I feel like I have this moral responsibility to use my platform for good.
Hold on. Yeah. I want it to be about political points. I absolutely do. I want everyone out there to know that you will make your political faction look good when you go clean up your city, clean up trash, raise money to help poor people, raise money to feed those that are hungry and provide shelter to the homeless. I want each and every person. AOC, I believe, deserves tremendous respect for everything that she did in helping these people and raising this money.
I agree.
And now I challenge Republicans to high five her and say, we're going to win the competition next time because we're going to help even more people than you helped. And I want that to be politics. Imagine Ted Cruz comes out and he's like, in my campaign, I raised $5 million for this, people. AOC only raised $3 million. It's good that she did it, but we won in helping more people. Vote for me and we'll help people. I'm like, that's great. Like, let's do that. Instead of yelling at people and wanting to fight each other.
I don't think we've gotten into like what you've been up to the last 3 or 4 months. I think you said you've changed trajectory a little bit.
I have. So very much like after the 2016 elections, Hillary Clinton had some ideas of why she lost the election, but the Democrats are really smart, right? What they did is they changed the law legally, and they started ballot harvesting in California. And because of that, all of Orange County went blue, right? It wasn't witchcraft. It wasn't shenanigans. They changed the law legally. And so I'm arguing for election integrity moving forward that why don't we do the same? We control the state legislature in 23 states. We have trifecta governments. We got the governorship, we got the state house, we got the state senate. it's within our power to change the laws legally to provide for additional election integrity to fortify the election, right? And we control the state legislatures in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Would you look at that? Swing states. Why don't we do the same and at least force the governors who are Democratic to veto that legislation, which would have political leverage repercussions going to the 2022 elections? And should we elect Republicans in those states, then let's fortify the elections going into 2024 into the presidential. So basically, I'm just saying, look, you guys at home, you have the power, but it's up to you if you choose to harness that power. And if you are not talking to your legislators, writing them, emailing them, calling them, then quite frankly, you don't really care.
Do you organize daily phone calls like at 2 p.m., call this number?
Well, I did just read Donald Trump Jr.'s tweet where he was alerting us about SF 145, which is legislation in Wyoming that's currently introduced at the Senate committee level, which would allow for primaries that don't have a clear 50+1 winner. It would go to a runoff election, therefore taking away power from the Liz Cheneys. So Liz Cheney wouldn't be able to squeak out a victory with 13% of the vote or 25% of the vote. It would go to a runoff election. And so, yes.
Wouldn't she just win the runoff, though?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And so I did send out an emergency email to my contacts in Wyoming and look at what's happening in Georgia, for example. State Senate passed legislation that would allow for voter ID for absentee voting. So if people care, you need to call and get involved, especially with subcommittees where bills go to die. And so 2 important websites that I'm asking people to go to are legiscan.com to find legislation that's being introduced at the state level, and also ballotpedia.org to find more information about districts that you live in.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.